4.9 million viewers tuned in Sunday night, October the 14th, to watch the second episode of Season 9. That's a 1.2 million viewer drop from the previous episode, which doesn't mean they stopped watching altogether. These ratings are just for the live plus same day, and they do increase a few million when you add those that watch later on in the week and streaming, including AMC's own Premiere, where you can watch commercial free. So this dead world is still very much alive, just as long as AMC doesn't cut the budget next season. Now, The Walking Dead Season 9's premiere set up a few key story elements very well. Number one, the Sanctuary is starting to run out of food with their dying crops. Number two, a Hilltop son died on a run, leaving his parents grieving, and Gregory tried to kill Maggie and rise up again as the leader. He failed and was immediately hanged by his neck until dead. Number three, one of the bridges between the communities has been partially destroyed. Now this bridge is very important and they must rebuild it. What's building up to be the theme of the first half is very prominent so far. Not only will it focus heavily on rebuilding an actual bridge, but the term building a bridge means to improve relationships between people who are very different or who do not like each other. So there is plenty of symbolism as well as what's actually going on. Now let's go deeper into The Walking Dead episode 902, The Bridge. This episode starts with Rick Grimes talking to an unseen person about the progress they have made repairing the bridge. 35 days have passed since the events that took place in episode 901. Before we see who he is talking to, the scene cuts to Rick walking in the camp. Visually, it feels real. It's packed with tents and people all about. A signpost that doubles as an Easter egg for the TV show MASH shows the directions to the different areas. Rick's walk takes him from inside the temporary camp right out to the work site, the bridge, and past the final sign reading the future. Rebuilding will likely be an underlining theme for the next few seasons. There's a nice conversation between Ezekiel and Henry about Henry telling his grandkids about building this bridge. Carol is seen to be like an adoptive mother, which is an interesting behind-the-scenes sort of Easter egg all in itself. See, Henry is played by Mason Lintz, who is the real-life brother of Madison Lintz, who played Carol's TV daughter, Sophia, in the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead. Also, it is rumored that Matthew Lintz, both Mason and Madison's real-life brother, will take over as Mason's character Henry after a season 9 time skip coming up in the next few episodes. Whew. This bridge is very important. It will connect all of them, allowing trade between them as well, like bullets from Alexandria, grain from the Hilltop, and fish from Oceanside. Rick and Eugene are walking and talking about a levee, which is an embankment built to prevent overflow of a river. Now, they made this levee so they could repair the supports on the bridge, and the levee might hold for only 6 to 9 more days. This lets us know that they are running out of time. The dialogue here is kept more interesting as they walk through a part of the camp and even switch between Eugene and Rosita, who checks in, talking about 2 herds of walkers that are given names, Horatio and Margaret, just like hurricanes. These mega herds are a new sort of natural disaster in this world. Eugene glances for a moment at a savior's hands, showing the aftermath from last season when the guns he sabotaged exploded, hurting some and mutilating others. We get set up for how they'll redirect the megaherds, and also some saviors are walking off the job. Enid is shown to be training as a medic while they tease or try to mislead a suspicious wound on Cindy's hand. Now back at the Hilltop, comic fans get Maggie training on a wild horse with her looks and all borrowed right from the source material. Michonne is there asking about a trade deal with the Sanctuary, and a new layer to the mystery is added. The saviors tasked with bringing the fuel never arrived, and they were never seen again. We check in on the bridge, where some saviors, like Regina, are seen being thankful and nice to Henry. But Justin, who used up all the paint last episode, wants to drink up all the water this episode, and he knocks little Henry down. Now this kicks off a fight between Daryl and Justin and Aaron and another savior. We'll call him Shaggy. Now this will lead to more friction between Daryl and Rick as well. Rick is hopeful people will fall in line, and Daryl believes Rick is being a little foolish. He might see them as being on the same side now, but Daryl thinks some of the saviors will never want to be on the same side and are just biding their time before making a move. With our survivors rebuilding and not on the run, relationships are growing too. Friendships, new and old, as well as romantic ones. Surprisingly, Annie and Father Gabriel have great chemistry, first shown in a makeshift cafeteria tent, and Annie is drawing a picture of a woman Gabriel knew. Now this calls back to season 5 as well as the last episode. When Gabriel joined the group, a walker on a run affected him emotionally. He froze and Rick saved his life. Later, it's revealed to be a woman he was close to. Now this is the same woman Annie is drawing. In that episode back in season 5, while Gabriel was looking over that photo of the woman he knew, Gareth is talking to Bob about devolving.
And now, we've devolved into hunters.
In episode 901, Gabe kills a walker and he finds it humorous how it falls. Annie simply says, "De-evolution of man." I like it. This is either just a connective callback, which is often used in this series, or this could be some dark foreshadowing. The new villains coming up might not be cannibals, but they do believe they are the next step, evolving to live among the walkers, giving Gabriel's art a more dreadful, foreshadowing feel to it. From here, Annie's drawing transitions beautifully to another one of her art pieces. This time, it's Glenn at the hilltop, and it's in Maggie's office, which is surrounded by other loved ones like Herschel and Beth. Now, Maggie and Jesus discuss future plans, and it's revealed the twins from season 8 are dropping off letters from Georgie, detailing her work trying to find and help other new communities grow. Jesus mentions that Georgie wants Maggie to join her, which might be them setting up Maggie's absence for the back half of this season. The letter is tricky to read, but some lines are visible that read, "We found a port city. The community is small but resilient, and I'm hopeful that it may serve as a foundation in the future to other far-flung people and places. Some trade goods via ship through the docks of Oceanside. Since the time, on my travel, I've forged a close bond, which feels as it should be." Now, they're broken sentences, sure, but it's still interesting. Now, Maggie appears to be exhausted, stubborn, yet caring for her community. She allows Tammy to see her husband in the jail he built, and it affects her. She connects with his history of a drinking problem because her own father's past, and his drinking problem, and what he was able to do with a second chance. It's easy to write off these scenes with new characters, but they are very important for setting up future fan favorites. Speaking of Herschel, I didn't love the guy when our survivors first went to his farm, but after some time and some great scenes with some great story, he became a huge fan favorite of mine, and many others. Earl could be like that in the future. They all have that potential. Now, not all of them will make it, and not all of them should make it, but those that do so because they get great scenes like these. So Maggie lets Earl work under armed guard to recreate the plow that they need for the farm, and she loads up the wagon with food to honor the deal with the saviors. And it's an important moment for Maggie's character. She's showing her friends, her family, her fans that she deserves. She earned the title of leader, while Michonne continues on her own campaign to establish a charter of law that's bigger than one person that will help and unite all the communities. And then it's here, at the 24-minute mark in the episode, we get the slow build-up to what normally would have been just some action in the episode, but it comes off expertly crafted. Tara keeps an eye in the sky and radios into Rick, who is approached by Alden. Tara adds small comedy but sets it up confidently, and Jerry sets off the alarm to turn the herd. All is right. We clearly know what they are doing, and we get another layer to the disappearing savior mystery. None of the walk-offs made it back home. Rick steps closer to Alden in disbelief and slightly worried, and this is the moment that shit picks up. Tara is on the radio trying to signal the second alarm, and Alden dumps the bad news to Rick that the saviors are getting spooked. Now this is great for this moment, but also to set up the conflict in future episodes. The tension here continues to grow. The danger is set, and we go to the workers cutting trees. The score builds. Horses get spooked. We pause on Daryl just for a moment, and he knows something isn't right. Seeing a couple walkers, he takes them out, and then bam, on the edge of the wood pile is a few dozen walkers coming right for them. We get a great scene here where some things are left off screen instead of using bad CGI, and some awesome action kicks off. The hits feel like there is weight to them, and the scene is intense with Rick and others fighting off the mini herd, and Aaron is rushed back to camp where he'll have his arm amputated. Now we've gotten a Western vibe and now a very Civil War era movie feel to it with this amputation. Also, that MASH Easter egg is making a lot more sense now. Just when you take a breath, a furious Daryl storms off, and we find out that Justin was responsible for the alarm not going off, and Daryl whoops his ass. We like Aaron, so we want Daryl to whoop his ass. After his physical ass whooping, Justin gets a verbal beating from Rick with the cool ass line, "If I see your face again, stitches won't fix what I do to you." Followed by 2 million collective orgasms around the world. Next, we get a great moment with Rick and Aaron, who's recovering from losing his arm. With his current beard and short hair, a lot of fans, including myself, joked about chopping off his arm and making him our visual Rick Grimes. If we're gonna lose the TV Rick, at least give us the comic Rick. As long as he survives, this looks like something they might seriously do. If not, it's a cruel tease that will never be forgiven. The episode begins to close by coming full circle to Rick from the start of the episode, speaking to prisoner number 100. Negan. He's covered in shadow, and he speaks softly but jumps at the chance to get under Rick's skin. The writers tease a triple cliffhanger. Number 1, Negan is fixin' to start some shit. Number 2, Annie, playing with a copper wire frog art piece that she made. I just want to say this is cool. It connects with her old character, although I hated Jadis, and I like Annie a lot more. Now it also connects to a moment with Father Gabriel when he educated her on frog mating calls. Now she looks happy when she's playing with this frog until she looks up and she hears the blades of a helicopter, and she actually looks relieved when it passes by. Number 3, Justin, walking away from the camp, gets attacked by Pamela Voorhees' signature POV finishing move. Now this is a reverse season 6 cliffhanger. Instead of Negan killing the cameraman is the one doing the killing. But seriously, this episode set up a few suspects along the way. Number 1, Annie, revenge for the heaps. Now she's on watch, so it seems unlikely, but we don't know how much time has passed. Number 2, Daryl. He did say there was only one way to deal with these assholes, but Justin would have likely reacted differently seeing him. Number 3, Oceanside. After all, the Saviors killed all of their male loved ones 12 and older. Cindy was seen being treated twice for a suspicious wound, her palm sliced by peeling potatoes. Although it seems out of character for her, maybe working next to them could have broken her down. Number 4, Old Saviors hoping to start an uprising. Number 5, a new villain. Now, if this is the case, how did Justin recognize the killer? As we end here, I want to thank the Map family and all newcomers for being a little patient with me. I actually got really sick and it delayed the video from coming out. I'm doing my best to shoot for every Tuesday and Wednesday when The Walking Dead is airing, and then when The Walking Dead is not airing, I would like to shoot for one a month or maybe 2 a month at the most, so that way I could go slow and really craft them into something nice and polished. And don't forget, I would also like to come back around to these maybe in a couple years and polish these up along the way so they fit in with the other polished Deeper Into videos for The Walking Dead. Thank you very much. Subscribe for Deeper Into episode 903 coming up next.